Hello everybody and welcome back. It is Michael from Hollow Thrills back with another video, and we finally have our second variation of our speculation maps for both HHN in Orlando and Hollywood. I know these came out a couple weeks ago, but I had other videos for you guys, so we're just now getting to it, but I definitely wanted to share this information for you guys. So we're going to be going over both these speculation maps in this video, as well as just kind of talking about the rumors and speculation within the community since we've last done one of these videos. But now, without further delay, let's get into Speculation Map version 2. So we're going to start off, always as we do, in Orlando. So this speculation map has a lot of changes since version 1, as we completely expected, because this speculation map, like this speculation year, has been so weird. So we're going to start off all the way in the front of the park at our spot, at our house spot A. And this one is very interesting and has been a talk amongst the community as to what this means. So this one is Demon Slayer. And this is related to the anime Demon Slayer. Now, Demon Slayer does have stuff all over the parks as far as merchandise. So could this be possible? Yeah, it could be. But a lot of people are thinking that this is a quote-unquote code name for a different house, and that Demon Slayer isn't actually happening. I, for one, haven't seen the anime, so I don't really have an opinion on it. I know a lot of people do enjoy this anime, but for me, I'm not really big in anime, so I'm kind of indifferent about this coming to the event. But like I said, I'm kind of more on the side of this being a code name for a different house, but we'll see. Now moving on to house location B, which is there in the Music Plaza. This was a very interesting one because this recently got announced, and I still don't quite believe this one, as this is the Exorcist Believer. I'm not so sure about this because this movie doesn't come out until October, and for them to do an entire house on it, I'm not on board. I'm not on board with it. I think that just the normal Exorcist might come with a little bit of the Believers like sprinkled in there, like they've done in the past for movies that kind of released that year. But as far as doing an entire house on this prior to it even coming out, I just don't see it as being a possibility. So I'm thinking this is probably going to be something completely different. I think there's a lot of things that are on this map that are not correct. But house location C is something that is 100% correct. Maybe not as far as the location, as we have been told that most of these locations are completely wrong. But this IP is 100% correct, and that is Chucky. This has already been announced. We know it's coming. That we don't really need to talk about it. I still need to watch it. Don't yell at me in the comments, please. I'm very busy. We're gonna skip right over that and move on to house location D. And this is the first one that I'm really interested in. This is an original, and it's gonna be where Chupacabra was last year. And all this is a picture. It kind of just looks like a village or a church with a big kind of pentagram moon over top of it. And I think this has something to do with all of the like runes that we've been seeing through our kind of teasers throughout this year. I think this is what's that's kind of teasing towards. I think this is going to be some sort of like blood witch or evil like devil witch, something like demon, something like that. I think that this is related to that, and I'm really interested to see how this turns out, because just kind of looking at this picture, it really has the gears in my head turning as to what this could possibly be. But let's move on to location E, which is another original location. They're really putting those heavy hitting originals back in that corner. Just like last year we had Chupacabra and Dead Man's Pier, this year we have this kind of witchy demon looking thing, and this one which kind of is medieval. The current speculation with this one is some sort of dueling dragons themed house based on the original attraction over at Islands of Adventure before it got changed to Hagrid's. I'm in on it. I think that I would love to see some sort of medieval house come to the event. And to be completely honest, I see this medieval thing and I'm kind of like, okay, medieval kind of gladiators, dragons, knights, and castles under siege. And I think who would be involved in something like that? And I'm like, I mean, nightingales like blood. Could we possibly see the nightingales show up in the medieval times now? I would love that. I love the concept of the nightingales. I think that is fantastic. I could see them coming to this, but I also just could see this being kind of like a D&D style medieval house with big dragons all over the place. And I also would love to see that, because if they do some really nice dragon puppets and animatronics, that would be so cool. Location F, like I said, it's probably not right. It's over in the Fast and Furious area. But this one is top secret. And there's a lot of speculation going on with this one. This one, from what I'm hearing, is what our lightning bolt with the guitar was from the first speculation map, and it's interesting. There's people have been talking about Lady Gaga, people have been talking about Pennywise, Scream, or what I personally think it is, as there's a lot of talk going around. I think it has something to do with this. I think it has something to do with this Palace Arcade here. I think we're getting Stranger Things 4. I think we're getting Stranger Things 4. And the reason I think that we're getting Stranger Things 4 is because it's related to that original image. The lightning bolt and the guitar. Metallica. Stranger Things 4. Eddie, come on. I think it's happening. I have no reason to believe that this isn't what this is. Now, personally, I would love to see Scream, but I think more likely than not, this is going to be Stranger Things 4. And I think the Hard Night Nightmares doesn't want to kind of put that on there just yet, because there might be some clearances with a certain song from the season that we definitely need in the house that they're kind of having trouble with. So maybe this isn't it, but I'm 100% on board with this top secret IP being Stranger Things Season 4. But let's move on to another original, and this is an original that has been the talk of the town recently. We had a little teaser video that came out that had a lot of weird static, and you could see some things, and there was a hint at a possible icon in there that might be new, or it could be an old icon. But regardless, this logo looks like a big puff of smoke and kind of like a circus tent. And there's a lot of rumors going around that this could possibly be the return of Dr. Oddfellow, and we could get some more of that OG backstory from Jack. But let's move on to the next location, which is down in the bottom right, which is like a little devil smiley face guy. I got nothing for you on this one. It's a demon. It's a devil. I know there's rumors going around about this location being a sort of play on the Crossroads concept, where the devil went down to Georgia, kind of like selling your soul to the music and stuff like that. So there's a possibility that that's what this could be, as a lot of people in the community are thinking that. There have been things from a Legacy over on Twitter who has said, okay, that's kind of what this is supposed to be. So we'll see if that's what that pans out to be, but I really kind of enjoy that concept, and I'm interested to see how they would involve that storytelling in this house. Would we include the devil in the house? Would we include some sort of... It's going to be really interesting to see how they make this story possible within a Halloween Horror Nights house. And that's going to be one to look out for this year. But the most controversial thing on here, at least to me, is our next location, which right now it says Naughty Dog, The Last of Us. Now, Naughty Dog is the part that I'm looking at on this. Naughty Dog are the developers for The Last of Us video game. Not the show, the video game. Which to me makes me think, that all this time when we've been hearing The Last of Us, The Last of Us, The Last of Us, people have been thinking, okay, Last of Us, TV show. It's gonna be the TV show, 100% it's gonna be the TV show. This makes me think, backtrack, this is gonna be based on the video game. Either way, I don't care. I haven't played the video game, haven't seen the show. The show I've heard is really good. Once again, don't get mad at me in the comments, whatever. But I have heard that both the game and the show are fantastic. So either way, whichever one we get, it'll be okay. It'll be okay. It'll be great. But to me, it makes more sense to do the video game as there's more of those well-known locations in that video game, locations that you see throughout the entire story. Whereas as far as the show, it was kind of just a basic cityscape kind of setting. So I think this makes a little bit more sense if we're gonna do the video game for The Last of Us rather than the show. But now let's move on to our last house location, and that is over by, we're moving it back over to where Kid Zone is. I'm interested to see how they're planning this out, but this is still our Universal Monsters house. It says Universal Monsters Paris. This is similar to what we had on Speculation Map version 1 for Hollywood. Universal Monsters Paris. Yeah, I'm here for it. Could we see Hunchback? Could we see Phantom? Could we see Invisible Man? I'm not sure, but all three of those in a house, chef's kiss. I want to see it. Make it happen, Universal. That is my number one kind of hype thing on this list right now, is Universal Monsters for this year. I think it's going to be beautiful. I think it's going to be fantastic. I think it's going to be great. But we do have some scare zones on this list, as well as one show. One show, as always, Nightmare Fuel. There's no really other rumors about this. It's just going to be some variation of Nightmare Fuel. And then we also have another show for the Lagoon. I'm not sure how that's going to work. I'm going to be honest. But now let's talk about the scare zones that are on this map. For the first time in this speculation season, we kind of have some rumors about scare zones. One of which I'm not too sure about. And that's the one that's up in New York. It says The Last of Us. Why? Why a house and a scare zone for The Last of Us? I don't think there's enough kind of material there to do both a house and a scare zone. And especially if you're gonna have The Last of Us on a complete opposite side of the park from it, it just doesn't make sense for me. I don't like it. Give me one or the other, not both. Come on. But this other scare zone is what I'm really interested in. The one that's in Central Park just says Holidayz. This reminds me of Holidays of Horror over in Hollywood, and I loved that house. I love going through the walkthroughs on YouTube, and I thought it was a fantastic concept. I'm really looking forward to see if this is what it ends up being, and I think that is a perfect concept for the little like walk there in Central Park. I think that this would work really well, and having kind of stages for each holiday, I think that this would work out really well. And to be honest, this is probably the first scare zone in a while that I'm on board with right off the gate. But now let's talk about HHN Hollywood, because their speculation map, it's looking interesting. So over in Hollywood, we have a bunch of the same stuff. So I'm gonna try to go through those pretty quick. But we're gonna start over in the Walking Dead area. The Walking Dead queue house for this year, it's looking like it's going to be the same of what we have over in Orlando, and that says Naughty Dog, The Last of Us, the video game. I think this makes more sense to do the video game rather than the show. So, like I said, we're just going to leave it at that. But having that in the Walking Dead queue, to me, makes a lot of sense over in Hollywood, and I'd love to see it that way. But now let's talk about this location, which is our Parisian Courtyard location, and this is the one that has a lot of facade work going on right now, and kind of looks like a church of some reason, or like a chapel, something like that. It looks like kind of like a like a Mexican pueblo, something like that. It really looks interesting. Now, a lot of people are saying chupacabra, but as of right now, we have kind of just this owl logo as the hint for this house. Now, I expect this to be an original 100%. When I see an owl, I think either, I rarely only go one way, and that's Owlman. That's kind of like a YouTube lore creepypasta. I don't think that's what this is. I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure what to think of this, but I definitely think that this is going to be some sort of either mythological creature or kind of some creature of lore like the chupacabra was or La Llorona was last year. I'm very interested to see how this turns out, but definitely on board with this one. I think it's going to be really cool and a very nice kind of continuation of what we had last year over in Hollywood with La Llorona being such a fantastic house. There are now 4 houses down at the back lot there where Transformers is. Let's start off with the one all the way in the front that's in the mummy queue. This is the Exorcist Believer, just like we have over in Orlando. Once again, movie comes out in October. I don't believe this whatsoever. I think this is something completely different. Either that or just the Exorcist, like I said, with a little bit of the Believer sprinkled in. Just the normal Exorcist with a little bit of the Believer continuation of the story sprinkled in there. I'm not on board with it. Like I said, not on board, don't like it. I want something else. But let's move back once again. We got Top Secret. This is going to be in a soundstage. And for me, I think it's 100% going to be Stranger Things. I don't see it being anything else other than that, especially because if you don't have Stranger Things on this map for Hollywood, this event sucks. It looks garbage without Stranger Things on there. But let's go to the other 2 houses that are over there. We have Holidayz in Hell. I would love to see this return. I want to see this house. I would need to see this house. I really hope that Holidayz in Hell comes back and they kind of build on what they did the last time and maybe introduce some new Holidayz in there. I don't want to see a complete rip of the original that they had over there, but I would love to see some sort of variation, new Holidayz put in there, and just really build on the success of the first house. Definitely need to see that and hope that this continues and stays on speculation maps for the future. And the next one over there, Demon Slayer. Like I said, same with Exorcist. I don't think this is actually what it is, but we'll see. We'll see. Not a big fan of it. Haven't really seen a lot of anime, so I don't really know how to feel about it. But I'm not really, I could take it or leave it, to be completely honest. But now let's move all the way to the front of the park to the very front where we have Chucky. We know Chucky's gonna be there. This looks like it's gonna be over in that extension lot there, over where we had Scarecrow and Halloween. I think this is a great spot for it. It makes the most sense to put Chucky over there. The other one that's going to be in that same area over by the Curious George lot is Universal Monsters Paris. Once again, like I said, give me Phantom, give me Invisible Man, give me Hunchback, and I'm there. I'm 100% there. I need to see it. And if they do the continuation like they did last year, where it's part 1 and part 2, both in Orlando and Hollywood, yeah, I'm there. But the last thing on this map that is really what we're going to talk about, and that is TRAM. TRAM celebrities. I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure what to think about it. Could we see celebrity zombies? I got nothing. I honestly have no thoughts about this one. It's just too vague for me to really have an opinion on it, to be completely honest. I need to see this idea develop a little bit more, but I really hope that Hollywood Harry comes back in some way, shape, or form for the TRAM. It's his baby. The TRAM is his baby, and I need to see him in there. That's all I'm asking for the people over in Hollywood. That's all I'm asking. The only other things that are on this map is 3 scare zones, which are currently unknown, the Death Eaters, of course, over in Hogsmeade, and a show But this is interesting because the show is not in its original spot because that theater is now closed. It's actually up in Waterworld, which is interesting, but also it doesn't straight up tell us Jabberwockies, which is surprising. I really would like them to see, like, I would really like them to make some sort of original show this year. I really want them to do something different than they've done the last few years and give me a reason to see the show when I'm over there. I'm gonna be honest. Give me a reason to take my time and see that show. But that is basically all the speculation that we have to talk about. I kind of filled in the speculation from the community as we're talking about these maps. In my opinion, both these events kind of look bleh. I don't really like them. They kind of look kind of boring, if you ask me. Other than the possibility of Stranger Things coming, I don't really have a lot of hype for either of these events right now. I need more. Give me another kind of, I mean, just give me something to be excited about. Come on. And I really hope that we do start getting announcements soon, because we're towards the middle of May and we have absolutely nothing right now. I'm getting concerned. I'm getting concerned, HHN. Come on. Give me something. But if you guys did enjoy this little breakdown of the speculation maps, please make sure that you drop a like below and also comment. What are your opinions on both these speculation maps? Are you like me and you're kind of like, or are you really excited for what you see on this? I would really like to hear your breakdown of it if you are excited for these maps, just to kind of get a different viewpoint on this. But as always, I'm Michael from Holidayz, giving you the all clear, and all clear means you're out of here. See you guys next time.